Thank you, worship team, for doing a phenomenal job of worship tonight and setting the stage for what's about to happen next. I do believe that you are in for a treat this week. I know that I don't look like I'm over about 22, 23 years of age, but I'm actually... Who said that? Would somebody just lay their hands on them gently and pray for them? No. 41 years of age. At the age of 30, I had the opportunity in a little town, I believe it was Frankfort, Kentucky. I was at a youth conference with a couple of thousand students, and I was in the green room or back behind the stage, about to walk on stage and greet everyone and pray for everyone. And I had the opportunity to meet a guy who would become a lifelong friend of mine and a person whom I would have the pleasure and the privilege of doing ministry with for many years to come. His name is Tim Bach. Tim and I had a chance to shake hands behind the stage there. We connected and felt like there was some kindred spirit, and that we could somehow connect at a deeper level. And over the next several years, we would do ministry in Kentucky together. Then when I would come to Champion Forest, we would do a middle school camp and a high school camp at Champion Forest. He has done a Freedom Weekend for us. He has done various things, including pastoring churches, leading churches, starting new churches. One most recent church was in Bend, Oregon, and now most recently he has relocated back to Dallas, and he is doing a number of things that we will talk about this week, including leading a very cutting-edge church and preaching the Word of God. Words could not somehow set the stage for what you're going to experience through Tim Bach and through him preaching the Word this week. He has prayed over this, he has prepared over this, and now he is ready to deliver what God has for you this week. So would you do me a very big favor and welcome my very good friend Tim Bach to the stage.
We rolling? We got this thing on? Can you hear me? Definitely see you. There is some serious neon happening in this place tonight. You know what? I remember the real 80s, man. I was there for it. Wow. How are you guys doing? You doing good? Champion Forest. Man, I love this place. I've been here a bunch of times, been able to be a part of a lot of the stuff going on with your student ministry. Some of your high school leaders, when they were younger, like yourselves, they remember when I came and had more hair. So, I love you a bunch. Here's my hope, that you guys will serve Jesus. My hope is that you will love Jesus, that you will know Jesus, that when you go on and you guys grow up and as you guys get older, that you'll have a grasp on what you believe, why you believe it, that you'll know God's Word, that you'll apply it to your heart, that you'll serve Jesus with all of your heart. And I feel very thankful to be able to be a part of your life this week. And so we're going to talk about that. Today's been a tough day for me because it started out really difficult. My daughter shared something with me just on the way home before I left to come here today, and it was very serious and very heavy. She had a very difficult night last night, and she dreamed that she saw Taylor Swift in a mall. This is serious. And Taylor Swift had her middle school shirt on, and my daughter was so excited. And so she went to talk to Taylor because she had her middle school shirt on and thought, this is awesome, I have something in common with Taylor Swift. And when she got to Taylor was mean to her, so my daughter punched her in the mouth. So it's been a really... You guys are sick. Who's clapping today? Yes, praise Jesus. Punched her in the mouth, amen. It's just a rough day. Yeah, we've had to work through that today. But I love junior high. Junior high is my favorite because usually at this age, really funny stuff that's good for me and makes me laugh as the speaker guy. And it's so fun for me because I don't have a lot of fun things to do. So when kids come up, they're like, are you the speaker guy? And I go, yeah. And they're always like, what are you going to talk about? Every one of them asks that same question. So please, now that I've said it, you're all going to ask me all week. I see it coming. What are you going to talk about? And I just go, keeping your pets neutered. So, some of you know what that is. I just do that just to freak you out. It's pretty awesome. Wow. That one kid came up to me and was like, hey, speaker guy, pull my finger. That's stupid, dude. I know what that is. I know what that is. He was like, come on, man, for real. I was like, I know what that is, dude. Then I freaked him out. I go, pull the other finger, you'll pee on yourself. He was totally freaked out. It was awesome. Anyway, I have a good time. So what I want to do this week is I want you to kind of laugh. Let's practice. Ready? Everybody laugh? see if we can laugh and stop at the same time. Because if you go back and forth, then we can laugh and then I can get back to preaching. So here it is. Ready? Laugh? It's really bad, man. Really bad. Actually, you know what? I don't get on to people when they're laughing because this is true. Can I tell you something terrible that happened to me? It's really terrible. You don't want to know? No! This is what happened to me. I was in Illinois and I'm talking in a public high school. And you know how like sometimes you tell a joke and then kids are like, right? Anybody ever do that? And then like you're trying to make the speaker mad and he's like, you kids stop doing that. Like, you know, you should laugh when I tell you that. And they tell stupid jokes. And so like I always hated that because it's, you know, it's difficult for me. Kind of like some of you, and I was like, stop. And you're like, So, just so you know, you're not the first one to do that. And so when kids are like, I get all mad at them, right? So this kid kept doing that to me the whole time. And finally I was like, dude, stop doing that. I was like, nobody is me. And then I found out this is true, honestly. He had special needs. Yeah, and so I made myself look like the biggest jerk in the history of the world. And like every teacher's like, no, shut up, you know. And so anyway, so if you do that, I'm not going to say anything to you because I don't want to accidentally mess anything up. It was kind of a terrible moment. Yeah, I know. Thank you. I'm glad you teams. So here's the deal. Basically, I like to have fun. I like to see people laugh. But what I want to do this week is I want to tell you some Bible stories that, you know, a lot of times we go to the New Testament, we talk through some stuff, and that's a lot of times where I preach from. And I was thinking this week it was kind of cool because one of my former churches, a home church of ours, they were doing this thing on Bible stories, and I thought, that's pretty cool. They were old stories. So I thought, I wonder if I can find some old Bible stories too that maybe you guys haven't heard before that are really cool. So tonight I got a story, and I want you guys, if you will, turn to the book of Numbers. Now this is crazy. Junior high camp, and we're going to the book of Numbers. This is way back on the left side of your Bible. Book of Numbers, chapter 22. And I want to talk to you guys tonight about a pretty cool story that involves an animal. Does anybody know what story this would be? The donkey. This is a donkey. Right on. Nice work. Okay, somebody, you win a, I don't know. I don't know. So anyway, you guys are awesome, and we're going to learn some of these Bible stories from back in the day. And this is a really cool old story. I like old stuff. Like I even like cool old things that I find, or like old antique stuff. I'm kind of intrigued with history. I like old stuff, and I like old Bible stories. And this one's a really cool one. I kind of wish I was back in the day. Like I like history. How many of you guys ever thought about the Olympics? Isn't that cool? That's like way back in the day when the world decided to compete against each other. Isn't that awesome? Would you like to be there? I'd like to see how it was invented. Like that's probably how they invented all the sports. Like they got together and like, all right, dude, our part of the world's gonna beat up your world. You know, like, I don't know. And they're like, well, what do you want to do? I can throw you in the ground. Like, no, you can't. Yeah, you can. How many points is that? They're like, 3 points, you know? And like, that's how wrestling started. I don't know, maybe something like that. But it's just, I love old stuff like that, you know? It would be cool to be back there. They probably didn't play dodgeball because they didn't have balls. They had actually, they had rocks. And so, wouldn't that have been awesome? Like dodgeball with rocks back in the day? It's like, that was fun once, and then we killed everyone, so it wasn't fun anymore. In Numbers chapter 22, go ahead and throw our first slide up there, guys, and let's take a look at this. Tonight's called, Are You Smarter Than a Donkey? Okay? Are you smarter than a donkey? You think you are? No? Maybe not. Numbers chapter 22. So, let's go on to this story. This is pretty cool. Now, here's what I need. Go on to guys, go on to the first slide for me. People see my actions, but God sees the motive of my heart. Here's what I want you to get tonight. I want you to get that one thought, all right? Everybody say this with me. Say, people see my actions, but God sees the motive of my heart. One of the things I want you to get, look right here for a second. When you first start this week of camp, all right? Maybe you have been coming to church for a long time. Maybe you've even been through that point where you're like, God, it's time for me to be baptized. I think I understand this. Maybe I don't. But you've been kind of walking this thing out because it's the right thing to do. You know, you go to school, you go to FCA, you're told you're supposed to go to your student ministry, you go on the weekend, you go in the midweek. You guys are walking that out. But what I really want to get to is, you know, do you really, truly have Jesus in your heart? Do you understand who He is? Do you really have a relationship with God? And this week is a great week to start that and a great week to work that out. And this story kind of sums this up. in this regard, that there was a guy, and he acted kind of like he was, speaking for God, and he was kind of a guy that was people saw him as a prophet, but he also worked for the other side. So the truth was, he acted like this, but he really didn't have an understanding or a true relationship, where he was totally committed to God. He was actually mixing magic and sorcery and all these other stuff. So sometimes he gave prophecies that were like blessings. Other times he would go and he would curse people. And he's just kind of a weird guy in this story. And he has a weird name, actually. His name is Balaam, and the way it's pronounced is actually Balaam. And so I had a real hard time with that, and I thought the easiest thing I could do to tell the story tonight was maybe to have your help. So I want to ask you guys to help me real quick. I don't want to have to say Balaam all night because it's really, really lame, I guess. I want to try to say something else. Can somebody help me name this guy? That's what I'm thinking. You can give me a name. So here's what I got. Ready? Here's what I got. Okay, hold on. Here's what I got. The first three people that can get up and come to the stage, we're going to let you give us one name, all right? First three people. Ah, right there. All right, you guys get in? Oh, man. Hey, you know what? You need to come up here. You work so hard. I mean, she'll have skin in the game. We need a girl anyway. Come on up here. Get up. We'll make it for her. Get on up here. All right, what's your name? Emmy? Maybe that's what we should just call him, Emmy. No? All right, so here's the thing. I want you guys to think of the best name you can for Balaam, okay? I want you to think of the best name you can. It can be funny. That's awesome. All right? Keep it clean, but keep it funny. And then you guys get all one shot at it, and then we're going to go like this, and we're going to let you guys decide which name we go with for Balaam tonight in the story, okay? Is that cool? Does that work? All right, so you ready for your name? Okay, tell me what it is. Chuck! That's really good. The prophet Chuck. That's good. What do you got? Dan. These are pretty simple so far. Who thinks Chuck? Who thinks Dale? You know what just happened? The guys voted for you, girls voted for her. That's what I can tell. All right. What do you think? What's a good name? Saquon. I like it. That's a little more creative. The prophet Saquon. I'm down with that. That's my name, dude. Timothy's not supposed to be a funny name. Very funny, dude. Very funny. All right. Who says Timothy for the prophet? That was actually a boy. That's what scares me. That's what makes me laugh about junior high. Right there. No. How do you think Saquon? All right, you guys be seated. Hands down. All right, so please don't tell your parents that I taught you about the prophet Saquon. They're going to think this was some sort of horrible misstep this week. So just for the sake of our story tonight, we're going to rename Balaam Saquon, all right? I'm not sure I made this easier on myself. I think this is actually harder. But all right, so here's what we do. Go into the scriptures, and we're going to look through this story. Now, one of the things that I like doing, because I don't think it's done a whole lot sometimes with students, and I don't want us to forget that instead of just learning one Bible verse or us taking one verse and turning it into just a thought, even though that's still good, I think it's cool that we also sometimes consume portions of Bible. So this might seem like a lot of Bible for you at your age, but the Bible will absolutely change your life. It is the written Word of God, and it's something we need to understand and know. And you really can't get the stories from the Old Testament without getting that. So what I did was I grabbed just a kind of a devotional version of it called The Message as far as this story goes. And we're just going to read down through that from that angle, and maybe that'll help us a little bit tonight. So I need somebody that will be the prophet Saquon, all right? I need somebody that will do that. Saquon? All right. You're beefing. All right. Now I need someone else that will be the king. That says Oregon Ducks, you win. Come on up here, man. Come on up here. Oh, I've been to Austin Stadium and spent a lot of time there. My son lives in Portland now, and he's playing football at college right now. All right, so here's the deal. Ready? So this is the prophet Saquon. Hi, Saquon. And this is Balaam. Now, you're actually a king, so that's kind of a cool deal. Here's the problem. You're an evil king, so you still kind of. All right. Now, you you act like you know God, but you also know sorcery and magic. So you're kind of a terrible prophet too, because people think like oh, you speak on behalf of God, but you're kind of an evil man. You're disobedient. You really don't have your heart right with God. So you want to be seen for being a prophet, but the truth is there's a side of you that isn't right. So that's kind of your guys' role in the story. Let's look along. You guys want to read the screens with me? And we'll just read down through the story. It says the people of Israel marched on and what? They camped at the plains of Moab. Now I like this, because basically there was a Christian camp, okay? They were Jewish, they were God's people, they were God's chosen people, but they were camping. So kind of like we're at camp this week, right? There was a bunch of campers that showed up. Now these campers were a little bit different, because Balak, who's this guy here, he was a king. And so the king Balak, son of Zippor, that's a weird name, Zippor, learned of all that Israel had done to the Amorites. The people of Moab were in total panic because of Israel. And there were so many of them, they were terrorized. Now here's what happened. They found out that Israel had just gone and killed a bunch of people, okay? So think about this. There's a whole bunch of people that came to your town and they had a camp. And they were like, hey, who's over there? They're like, oh, some dudes from the Christian camp. They all just camped here. And they're like, where'd they come from? They're like, this other land where they met these people called the Amorites, and they cut their heads off and stabbed them in the face. And then the people there were like, we don't want them to camp here. Okay? So that's what's going on in the story. Like, we don't like those campers. Them Christian campers stabbing people in the face. That's a terrible story. We don't like them. We don't want them camping here. So Moab, verse 4, spoke to the leaders of Midian, and he said, look, this mob is going to come and clean us out. Basically, he goes, those Christian camping people, them Jewish campers, they're coming here, they're going to stab us in the face. All right? That's what the Bible says, kind of. Balak, the king, who was the king of Moab at the time, he sent emissaries to get Shaquan, right? We renamed Balaam, all right? So the king grabs some guys, and he goes, hey, you represent me, I got a problem. There's some Christian campers that are stabbing people in the face who don't want to camp by us. So I need you to go get that dude who's the prophet / sorcerer guy, and I want you to go get Shaquan, and I want you to bring him over here so I can basically talk to him and ask him to go curse these people, because I don't think I'm going to be able to fight him. So what I want to do is see if maybe I can get God to curse him, and if I can use that dude to curse the people, they won't be able to kill us, because it's almost never good when you get stabbed. Alright, so that's kind of what's happening in the story. Now the king's emissary said this, look, these people have come up out of Egypt, and get down here where I can read it better. It says these people have come up out of Egypt. Where'd he go? I've got blind spots from those lights. Alright, so, oh yeah. And they're all over the place, and they're pressing hard on me. So come and curse them for me, because they're too much for me. And maybe I can beat them, and we'll attack them and drive them out of the country. And you have a reputation. Those you say, are blessed are going to stay blessed, and those that you say are cursed, they're going to stay cursed. So basically, what happened is this guy, the king, goes and gets Shaquan, and he goes, hey Shaquan, I heard you got a special gift. I heard you're kind of magic. I heard you might know God. I heard you might be able to help me do something. Here's what I need you to do, Shaquan. I need you to go over and get a look at those people who are camping, because they stabbed the last people right in the head. And so I need you to have God curse them, because I heard when you curse people, they stay cursed, and it really works. So that's what he's asking him to do, right? So y'all are together, go over there, you talking to him like this. So the leaders of Moab and Midian soon were on their way. And they had a fee for the cursing in their wallets. And they got to Shaquan, and they gave him the message. Now here's what happened. He's got these emissaries, they go tell him, and this guy right here, guess what he did? Ready? Check this out. He would make a paper for cursing people. Alright? He was like, here's the deal. I'll curse folks, but y'all gonna pay. Alright? That's the way Shaquan rolls. Y'all gonna pay for curses. So these guys were gonna pay him money. They're like, we're gonna give you some cash if you go curse these people. So that's what happened. So now here's the deal. They weren't actually talking yet. I got that wrong because he sent his emissaries, but the emissaries are at his house. And the emissaries, they tell him this story, and he's like, yeah, I might do that, that's cool. So Shaquan says this, he goes, why don't you all stay the night at my place? Now Shaquan lived on a river called the Euphrates. He had a little cabin on the river, he's chilling out on the river, he goes to bed, and here's what happened. Look at verse 9, ready? Everybody to verse 9. They're sleeping The king's guys are over his house. They just talked about going and cursing God's people. And God comes to him and he goes, hey, who are these men that are staying here with you? Shaquan was like, that's the real guy. And he's like, yeah, who's the guys in your house? What y'all planning to do? God doesn't really talk like that. That's how I talk. What's y'all planning to do? Shaquan goes, he's just like probably going fishing or something here on the river now. He's like, what are y'all planning to do? Shaquan goes, well, here's the deal. The king, he sent these guys with a message, and he said, your chosen people came over, and they're camping there. They don't really want to camp in there because they stab people. And so he told me, I'll give you money, come curse them, and maybe then I'll be able to attack and drive them out of the country. God says to Balaam, that's what he says, he goes, don't do that. Don't go with them. He goes, listen to me, man. Do not go curse them. I'll tell you why. They're blessed. Those are my chosen people. I've got them on a mission. They're conquering. They're honoring me. Don't go with them and do what they're trying to get you to do. All right? It's not. This prophet, Shaquan, he's got a decision to make. He's like, do I go over there and try to curse these people because they think I'm a prophet and they can pay me to do bad stuff, but I also got this reputation that I'm supposed to be working for God. I wonder what I should do. Now, how many of you, if God came and said something to you audibly like, hey, don't go to school tomorrow, how many of you are like, that's cool, I ain't going, right? I'd be like, I ain't going. This dude right here, pretty stubborn, all right? Because his actions were like, yeah, I'm working with God, but his heart was always far from God. So look at this. Let's go on to the next scripture verse. It says this, the next morning, Shaquan got up, and he told Balak's guys that were staying with him, he goes, you guys got to go home. Actually, the real God talked to him. He said, I can't go with y'all. Like, I can't go curse these people. They're his chosen people. So then the king, they went back and told the king, they were like, we can't go, man. Talked to Shaquan. He was like, he talked to God, said we're not supposed to do this. The king was like, dude, listen, they're going to stab us. Seriously, they're going to stab us. We got to get that dude to help us out. So he took some more dudes. He took some more emissaries. He sent the nobles back over to the guy's house. And they come back over and they go, look, man, same thing. Like, here's what he says. And I love this. Please don't refuse to come to me. I will honor and reward you lavishly. Anything you tell me to do. So he basically sent him back with more money. He goes, listen, Prophet Shaquan, I got cash, dude. I'm a king. Like, I don't run out. Deep pockets. I got like LeBron James money, bro. Like, I can spend. Like, I will hook you up. And then look what he says. Balaam answered the servants and he goes, even if the king gave me his own house, stuffed with money, silver, gold, I still can't go against God. Like, the God talked to me. Big or little, listen, I can't do it. But stay with me tonight, and I'll see if God says something different to me tonight. Now, God already told him not to go. So where do you think his heart was? Still questioning, right? This guy's rebellious. This guy's stubborn. This guy's far from God. So, here's what happened. God came to Balaam again that night. And look what God says here. Ready? This is kind of confusing, but it's interesting. Verse 20. He says, since these men have all come this way to see you, go ahead and go with them. You better not do anything other than I tell you. Now, have you ever had your parents tell you, like, okay, you can go. But it's different than like, yeah, you can go. You know what I'm talking about, the difference? Yes. Okay? The one that's like, yeah, go, have fun, it'll be awesome. Or, okay, we'll see. All right, you can go. Okay, this was kind of that kind of go. Like, God's like, I already told you not to go. And you still, in your heart, are planning on rebelling against me. So, all right. That's the kind of go it was, okay? So he tells him, all right, go ahead. So Shaquan, instead of going like, I know I'm not supposed to go, verse 21, he gets up in the morning, saddles his donkey. Now, I love animals. Animals are awesome. I love animals, meet them well. No, I didn't say that. All right. How many of y'all got like a dog? Do this for me, ready? Tell me this. Who's got the silliest name of a dog in here? Anybody got what is it? Kitty baby. Nice. What? Pickle? And noodles? And pickle? See, here's the problem with dog names, alright? Here's the problem with dog names. You forget when you name them. You might need him one day to protect you. Think about this, all right? Somebody's attacking you, and you're in trouble, dude, because your dog is named Pickle. All right, because you're going to be like this. You'll be like, you better back up, dude, beware the dog. And they're going to be coming after you, like, well, and you'll be like, all right, get him, Pickles! Get him, Pickles! You got to think about that. You need to name your dog like Killer or something else. Pickles. That's going to do you nothing. I love it. So in this story, he's got a donkey. Now, I don't know what Shaquan's donkey, I don't know what Shaquan's donkey's name was, but he saddles up his donkey and he takes off and they go with the nobleman from Moab. And as he was going, God's anger flared. Now here's what's funny, because you go like, didn't God tell him to go? Remember? But then it says God's anger that he's going. Why do you think that is? It's because the second go ahead was one of those like, you need to understand what I'm saying, right? Girls do this all the time, all right? Girls are bad about this. I'm going to tell you, hey, you don't talk to me, you're 12. Listen. Hey, I'm going to teach y'all something, okay? When you're a man, you just need information, okay? Girls will try to hint things to you as if you're going to figure it out. All right? They send you like little notes. And here's what the note says. I like you. I don't know if you like me. If you do like me, then check the box, I guess, you know. Or probably, maybe. Here's the deal, all right? If you like the dude, then you would just like, dudes are like, just tell me, you're supposed to go in there and be like, all right, I like you. All right, that's how guys think. Like, we don't get the hint like, oh, you're so funny. And then they like slap you 3 times. You're supposed to know like, oh, she hit me 3 times. That means she won't talk to me, right? We don't get that stuff. You got to be straight with me. All right, so he got this thing where God says, you know, oh, you go. But he's letting him know, like, I already told you not to go. And so he gets up, saddles his donkey. I think God was wanting him to understand and make the decision to go, I know I'm not supposed to go, but he didn't. So he gets up and gets on his donkey. He takes off. And he's going to God's anger flared. And then check this out. While he's riding the donkey. Now this is Shaquan right here. All right. He said now, he thinks I'm going to go curse the Jewish campers. He's riding the donkey. And then all of a sudden, there's an angel right here. And this angel has a sword. Now you can't see the angel. The angel's invisible to Shaquan. So he's just chilling out, riding his donkey, had to go do what he knows he's not supposed to do. And all of a sudden, God gets angry. He sends an angel. And this angel's standing there, and he's going to try to stop him. So the angel stands in the road to block his way. And Shaquan was riding his donkey, accompanied by 2 servants. And guess who saw the angel? The donkey. That's pretty wild. The prophet don't see the angel. The donkey, his eyes were even more open spiritually than the prophet. So that's how bad off this guy was. So check this out. Balaam's riding his donkey. All of a sudden the donkey sees the angel blocking the road, and he's got a sword, and that donkey was like, dude, because donkeys say that, okay? And the donkey went off the road into a ditch. He was like, you know, just walking along, was like, huh? That's an angel with a sword. I know that ain't right. So he just runs off in the ditch. He's like, I know you don't know what's going on, but here's the bottom line. I can't be going that way because there's a big dude with a sword. He's going to stab us, just like the camper people do. And so he goes out there, and what does Balaam do? You see the very end of it here? Balaam beats the donkey and got her back on the road. So Balaam gets off and he's like, what are you doing? And he starts beating the donkey. He's like, get back on the road. And the donkey's like, dude, there's a huge angel with a sword. He's about to kill us. I'm not getting on the road. And Balaam was like, come on, you got to go. So Balaam's beating the donkey. So the donkey gets back up on the road. Check this out. Verse 24. They're going through the vineyard. There's a fence on either side. And the donkey again sees the angel blocking the way. And he just runs into a fence. He's like, oh. And Balaam's like, Shaquan's like, why can't you drive, man? I've been with you a long time. You keep running off the road. You're running the fences. He's getting mad. And so all of a sudden, crushing, this time he steps on Shaquan's foot. Shaquan's like, ow. It gets him against the fence. Shaquan gets off, starts hitting her again. Get on the road. Get on the road. It's a her, it says. Verse 26. Look at this. Now check this out. Verse 26. The angel blocks the way again. and a very narrow passage this time, so there was no getting around. So the donkey couldn't go in the ditch, couldn't go in the fence, he was just stuck. And the donkey looks up and he's like, this ain't cool, man. He sees the angel, and then Shaquan's donkey sat down under him. So here's what he did. He looks, here, get on here. Come on. There you go. Yeah, I'll be your donkey.
Okay.
And so, all the girls are married, the donkey was a girl, so I'll make it a boy now. Here we go. So Shaquan's just riding along and finally the angel, the donkey's like, dude, ain't no ditches, ain't no fences. I got nothing like you. Here's the thing, man. That's a big old angel with a flaming sword. I don't know what's going on, so the donkey just goes. He just sat down. He just sat down and just dropped him. And here's the thing, ready? Check this out. This time Balaam gets mad. He steps up and he's like, man, you don't even know. So Shaquan grabs a big something, starts beating the donkey. You gotta go. You gotta go. And check this out, verse 28. Are you beating me? Listen. Verse 28. All of a sudden, the donkey turns around and talks to Shaquan. This is awesome. Look at this. The donkey turns around and does this. He goes, what have I ever done to you? How crazy of a story is this? If it weren't in the Bible, I would think it's impossible. All right? But somehow the Bible says that God gave the donkey speech. So the donkey turns around and goes to the prophet, man, look, Shaquan, we've been together for a while. All right? I've been riding you around. I don't like you. You got stinky feet. All right? I've been tired. You don't feed me enough. You don't give me enough water. I ain't never done nothing. You just beat me. You don't even understand what's going on. Now, at this point, what would you be thinking? Yeah. Okay. So she said she would take a stick and beat him. But here's what I'd be thinking, all right? Here's what I'd be thinking. I would be thinking exactly this. That's a donkey and it talks. All right, so I don't understand the next thing, because look what happens. Turn to the next one. Shaquan says, and here's what I don't get. The first thing out of the prophet's mouth should have been, dude, you're a donkey and you're talking. That is crazy. We're going to make a lot of money now. Right? I'm going to take a talking donkey for Jesus on TV. We're going to make some cash. I'm going to be on Christian television. But instead, you know what he does? He starts talking to him like it's normal. How weird is this? He goes, the donkey's like, why are you hitting me so much? I've been hitting you the whole time. He just starts talking to him. Because you've been playing games with me. And if I had a sword, I'd have killed you by now. And then the donkey said to Shaquan, am I not your trustworthy donkey? You've ridden years right up till now. Have I ever done anything like this to you before? I love this. Instead of being like, dude, you're still talking to you, a donkey. He goes, no, you're right. Like, how are you having a conversation with an animal? That is so weird to me. If your dog talked to you, you would freak out, right? You would call Oprah, you would try to make some cash. Right? What? Oh, that's true. That's true. She said her dog knows too much. All right. So check this out. Look at verse 31 with me. Ready? Here we go. Listen. Then God helped Balaam, or Shaquan, see what was going on. And he saw, all of a sudden, God opens his eyes. Okay? So then his eyes open, and he sees there's an angel standing there. And he's like, oh my gosh, this is what's going on. This is why my donkey's freaking out. And so Shaquan says to the angel, verse 34, I have sinned. No doubt. Because he was like, I do his big, he's going to stab me. Let me try this instead. I have sinned. Right? He goes, I have no idea you were standing in the road, blocking my way. If you don't like what I'm doing, I'll just head on back. Right? All of a sudden he's like, yeah, I'm good. I think I would rather obey God. And he just starts turning around. And so Shaquan takes off with Balak's nobles, and Balak the king, you got the king, saw that Shaquan was coming, and he went out to meet him in the town, in the banks that were out there on the border of that land. And the king says to Shaquan, I sent you an urgent message to help. Why didn't you come when I called? Don't you think I can give you enough cash? This was all about money, right? This wasn't a real prophet that was honoring God. This guy was making a buck. And then Shaquan says to the king, well, I'm here now. I can't just tell you anything. I can only speak the words that God gives me and no others. So now all of a sudden he's straightening his act up. He's like, I just need to speak for God. I'm doing the right thing now. And then Shaquan, accompanied by the king, when it got this stuff for sacrifices, and at daybreak, the king took Shaquan to this area so he could get a good view of this camp. So here's where the story leaves off, all right? And I'm going to go there and just summarize the rest of the story. In Numbers chapter 23, here's what happens. It gets to the end of the deal. Shaquan has not cursed the people of God because he got his eyes open. He was like, man, I've been doing this thing, like acting like I was speaking for God. The reality is I just ran into the one true God. And this just went from like me acting like I'm really a prophet to like my heart and understanding the fact that I'm not who I'm supposed to be. I can't fight God. I got to do something different than the way I was. I ignored God. I thought I could push him. And he let me know straight up with an angel that he was going to kill me if I was disobedient. So it stops there. Well, the king's not done yet. The king goes, I still want you to go curse these people. So here's what happened. In chapter 23, I'll just tell you the last little bit of this. All right? He comes up there and basically Shaquan says, here's how it works. You got to lay out like these cattle and sheep and we do these sacrifices. Then after that's consumed, I'm going to have a word for you. So the king is like, all right, cool. Now give me the word to curse these people. And here's what he says. He does all that, and then Shaquan says this to the king. Now the king is waiting for Shaquan to go, those people are cursed, you guys are going to defeat them, you're going to win, you know, they're all going to not be able to fight. And instead he says this, how can I denounce whom the Lord has not denounced? From the top of these crags, from the hills I can behold him. Behold, I see people dwelling alone, not counting himself among the nations. Who can count the dust of Jacob? In other words, there's so many children of God, so many children of Israel. Or number the fourth part of Israel. He says, let me die an upright death. Let my end be like this. So he basically just starts blessing and honoring these Jewish people, those campers. He's like, these people are blessed. These are Jacob's kids. There's tons of them. If anything that happened for me, I hope I can die like them, be like them. They are God's chosen people. And the king got mad. He was like, that's not what I said. I said to curse them. So he laid out all the sacrifices again, and he gave them another shot. Here's what he says in the second time. It got worse. Verse 24 of chapter 23, he says this. Shaquan says, behold the people, like a lioness rises up, and as a lion it lifts itself and does not lie down until it has devoured its prey and drunk the blood of the slain. The king's like, dude, this is getting worse. Okay, you're supposed to be cursing them, and instead you're telling me now they're going to rise up, kill us, and drink our blood. This is not what I was paying you. Remember I gave you cash to curse the God people? Like, this is not working out for me. So he goes, I'm going to do it again. Chapter 24 happens. He lays out all the sacrifices. He gives them another shot. And he says this. He shall eat up the nations. This is what he says next. He shall eat up the nations and his adversaries. And then he will break their bones in pieces and pierce them with arrows. Crouch down like a lion and a lioness who will rouse up. Blessed are those who bless you, and cursed are those who curse you. So it gets worse. And he's like, okay, not only are they going to kill you, drink your blood. He's telling the king this. He goes, not only are they going to kill you and drink your blood, but then they're going to rise up. And like I said, like a lion or lioness, they're going to rise up and destroy you. And they're going to break your bones in pieces, and they're going to pierce you with arrows because they are God's blessed people. The king is fed up. He's like, I am paying you to curse these people, and instead you keep cursing us. So then he says, I'll give you one more chance. And so the last oracle, the last prophecy comes from him. He says, I'll give you one more chance. So he lays out all the sacrifices like he's supposed to, and Shaquan gets one more shot at it. Here's what he says at the end of that oracle. And one from Jacob shall exercise domination and destroy the survivors of the city. So he goes, all right, and by the way, they're going to be so dominant that if any of you survive, they'll destroy you too. And the king is like, I think that's enough prophecies. I think we're good. I don't think I need any more of these. This has not worked out at all. So then he turns around and he sees a guy named Amalek, and he gives him a prophecy for destruction. And basically he just starts speaking for God. And he just keeps doing it over and over and over. And God just got a hold of his heart at that point and just changed him. And here's what I want you guys to do this week. With this story, I want you to see that here was a guy. People thought he was a prophet. People thought he was speaking on behalf of God. But his heart wasn't really after God. My question to you tonight is, when people see your actions, do they really see you
and understand who you are, do you really have the right motives? Do you really have a heart after God? Is your heart really after the Lord? My son just went to college to play football, and the first week they were tested, and he called me, and I prayed with him because right away he saw that, man, there were people around him that we thought were believers or Christian kids, and week one, they're living their lives, against the things that we know are right. And I was able to challenge him and say, Chad, where does this land for you? Where is your heart? Do you love God with all your heart? Have you committed your ways to God? Just like this prophet, I want you guys to look closely to this week and see, are you really living this out because people around you did, or your parents said, or do you really know Jesus in a personal way? As those guys go down, give them a hand, they help me out tonight. I will never forget Shaquan the prophet. That's awesome. So here's what I want you to get. Listen to this. And lastly, go to that last screen for me, Steve. Here's what I want you to get. All right? Are you obeying God with your actions or with